have been struggling with infertility for quite a bit now, longer than I would have expected or would have hoped. And I have found hope in watching other women's infertility journey videos on YouTube, and just like researching and hearing how everybody has different stories, and it's very common. But for some reason I still felt so alone, and so just those videos would just give me some glimmer of hope, and they were like few and far between. So I thought maybe if I record myself sharing our story, then maybe if I get around to posting it, it would give somebody else hope too, and hopefully there's success at the end of our story to grow our family as well. I kind of wrote down some notes because it's been a long time up to this point, and we've tried various different things, but we're about to start getting more aggressive with our infertility treatments. So we've been married for about almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years this December, and it's the middle of August 2023 right now. In the first 6 months of our marriage, we were not trying to get pregnant, but we weren't not trying to get pregnant. We both always knew we wanted a family, but we weren't aggressively trying until like October or November of 2022. So I think this upcoming month will be our 11th cycle of trying. So we're kind of getting close to the year mark, and I really do not want to get to that 1 year of infertility. I just don't. But I know that God's in control, and I don't really have much say in that, other than doing what I can. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about our journey and what we've done so far. So basically, I was having irregular periods. I was doing spotting for like 4 months at a time, and then I would have like gigantic blood clots that I'd be passing to the point where I would like go through my tampon and my pad and my pants. And I had kind of an embarrassing experience on a flight home, and that is when I decided, okay, enough is enough. Even though the job I had just started was super stressful and I was dedicating like all of my time to that, I decided, no, it's time for me to like get checked out. And so at that appointment, I went and saw my gynecologist, and she suggested that I either get back on birth control, which I hated my birth control, or we could start trying to have a family. And I came home, told my husband I want to actively start trying to have a family now, and we both agreed that it was an appropriate time for us to start trying. I was so naive. I was thinking that we would be pregnant like that. It was October of 2022 or November of 2022. I can't remember. But I thought by Christmas, we're going to be pregnant. That was not the case. And then it's just like month after month after month of negative tests. And like, seriously, when I say emotional roller coaster, like, you have no idea if you've never been through this before. And like, for those of you going through it, if and when I ever post this video, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. It's such an emotional time, and it's freaking hard. And I had no idea this is what it was going to be like. So we decided that since I had irregular periods, I likely had PCOS. I had been having some issues before that. So we knew I had likely had PCOS, which can impact your fertility. And that was true. I wasn't getting regular periods. I wasn't ovulating on my own. And so my gynecologist said, let's try you on Clomid. So I tried like the lowest dose on Clomid. I think it was like, I want to say it was like 2.5 milligrams per day on days 3 through 5 of your cycle, or days 3 through 7. Yeah, sorry, days 3 through 7 of your cycle was what I was doing. So it's 5 days. And your cycle starts like on day 1 is like the first day you start bleeding, and then you count all the way up until the next day you start bleeding, and that's how long your cycle is. My cycle, I found out the average cycle is 28 days. However, my cycle is between 33 and 36 days. So the average woman would ovulate on like day 14-ish. I don't ovulate until between day 17, and I've even ovulated as late as day 20. So finding like videos of women who like are going through the similar things as I am with like long, lengthy cycles and like not ovulating until day 20, and like some people are testing positive on day 20 because you're like 8 days prior to your period starting, and so that's just been like really defeating. So I thought, well, maybe if I share my story, then maybe there's more women like me out there, and maybe you could understand and get some hope out of this, hopefully. But that was that. So we tried a few months of Clomid. I think I did November, December, and January of Clomid, and then like November didn't work. Your progesterone levels are supposed to be at like 10 or above for a positive ovulation, is what this gynecologist had told me. And my first month on Clomid, I got an 8.8, so that was super positive for me. I was like, great, December's our month, pregnant by Christmas. No, then December came, and I think we stayed on the 2.5 for December. Maybe we upped it to 5 at that point. I can't really remember. But then I was pulling like 2.3. And then in January, I did the same thing. I think it was like the same number, 2.3. So clearly not ovulating. At this point, I wasn't taking any ovulation tests either, but I wasn't having any of the signs or the symptoms and wasn't getting my period on my own. So had to do the medroxyprogesterone, I think is what I took to start my period so that I could start the Clomid. And it was just a lot of this, like hormone city inside of me. But I also was like projectile vomiting each month that I would take Clomid, and I had never done that before. Like, it was the weirdest thing. So I said, I'm not doing Clomid anymore, and thank goodness my gynecologist was like, yeah, it's clearly not working. Let's switch you to Letrozole and get you over to the fertility clinic. And so when did I start? Okay, so then February we tried Letrozole, and I had a successful ovulation. I got those ovulation test strips. I just bought the cheap ones off Amazon so I could teach myself kind of how to do it. Negative pregnancy test. Then March came, and I guess that's when my gynecologist referred me to the fertility clinic that's local to us. And I was super excited because that meant that we qualified for that and that we could kind of have the green light to be more aggressive in trying to get pregnant. And we had just found out that I was successfully ovulating on Letrozole, so I was like, great. So then March came and went, and again, negative pregnancy test. We were lucky that we got into our fertility clinic because I guess the waiting period was like 6 months or like 4 months at that time, and I would have been really defeated if that was the case, but I guess they had just had a cancellation and were able to get me in, which I'm super thankful for. Basically, she decided that we should do various of different types of testing. So we did like labs. My husband got a semen analysis done, and she wanted to do a transvaginal ultrasound on me just to make sure like my anatomy was okay. And then she said that if that doesn't give us any clear indicators on why we're not able to get pregnant, and the Letrozole after a few months isn't working, then we should schedule an HSG. And I did not want to do an HSG. So we did my labs. They came back like normal, nothing like overly like red flags or anything about that. My husband did a semen analysis, which that is the like weirdest concept, but we went to the andrology lab, did the thing, he did the thing, and got tested, and it came back like maybe a little bit of low like male factor infertility, a smidge. He was in the normal ranges, but on the lower side of the normal ranges, which there was some like reasons for that. So we're hoping that in the future we can get like better results from his testing. And then my transvaginal ultrasound really wasn't that uncomfortable. It was like totally fine. And everything looked good. So I could tell that I had ovulated that month, which was promising because that just confirmed like the positive ovulation test I was getting. And yeah, so we decided, okay, well, I'm ovulating, everything looks decent, like we should be able to get pregnant, so let's just keep trying a little bit more, like more months of the Letrozole. So I think we increased the Letrozole dosage. We tried Letrozole once with the Clomid because there was a study being done that could show more promising results, and I hated the Clomid, so I said I'm not ever taking that again, regardless of if it's with Letrozole or not. And so let's see then what happened. So month after month, positive ovulation but negative pregnancy tests. Then after the summer, it has just played a huge toll on my mental health, and it's just been like crazy. Like I literally feel like I've turned into a crazy person, and I just I'm just like super impatient, and I don't know, it's just really frustrating like being able to get positive ovulation results and then like literally like it's exhausting. Honestly, like the ovulation period is like exhausting, and then you do all that hard work and that's like exhausting, and then you just get a negative test, and so it's like, oh my gosh, like we have to do this again. Like another month of like highs and lows and highs and lows, so just frustrating. So then I guess at this time I forgot that we did the HSG because my husband was gone, and I was like, you know what, I'm just calling and telling them I want to do it, and they were able to get me in that day. So left work, went over there, did the HSG really fast, and came back, and I mean that turned out normal. One of my sides tubes was like a little blocked, but then like just by repositioning me, they were able to like push it through. And so I was thinking, okay, well maybe if there was like a little bit of, you know, blockage there, it washed out and we're gonna get pregnant now. Didn't happen. So then I decided, okay, let's move forward with the IUI. So then the month of August came, and my husband travels a lot for work, and we were super excited because this was going to be the month that we did our first IUI, and my husband was actually conceived from an IUI, like his parents' first IUI, so it's like, this is good, like the vibes are good, baby dust is good, and I tested positive for ovulation, and my husband was gone. So I was like, oh, perfect. And I was doing everything in me to be like, well, maybe it's not positive yet. So I ran to the store, got a digital, super positive, and my husband was not present. So we couldn't do the IUI, but right when he got home, like that next night, we tried the natural way. Still got a, probably most likely will be a negative test. See, I haven't even tested yet, but I'm so used to getting a negative test. I'm like, it's gonna be negative. Like September, I made sure that he's gonna be home. Like I have this app that blocks out, like tracks all my, I track all of my cycles and how many days long they are, and then when I typically ovulate. And I told him, I like sent him a screenshot and I was like, put this on your desk at work because you have to be home during this time period. So we're hoping that, obviously I hope that I'm pregnant, but for some reason I just have it in my mind that like if we were gonna get pregnant the natural way, it would have happened already, because we're coming up on a year. And I don't want to like be defeated and like lose hope, but at the same time I'm just kind of like want to be a mom so bad. It's just frustrating. So hoping that September is our month for our first IUI, if I'm not pregnant right now, but you know how things have gone in the past. So things that I've learned about myself thus far up to this point, and maybe if I decide to post this, like I'll go into more detail about each of the things we did and what it looked like and my experiences, our experiences with them. But the things I've learned about myself, learned about this process as well, is I finally really truly got to know my cycle. I've never really understood like the importance of knowing your cycles, and never even understood how to know my cycle or what that meant. But I've learned, like I said, that my cycle, because I have PCOS, is anywhere now from 33 to 36 day cycles. And now since I'm like taking Letrozole every single month, then I typically, like, since I'm ovulating, I get my period usually pretty much every time, knock on wood, except this time I don't want to get my period because I want to be pregnant. But so yeah, that's kind of good. Not my fave. Wish I had shorter cycles so we could have many more attempts, but that's okay. And then having 33 to 36 day cycles for me means that I typically ovulate, I know, to be testing a few days before the 17th, because I typically ovulate on day 17 through 20. That's the latest date I've ovulated. Have to take Letrozole to ovulate successfully. Clomid didn't really work for me. Didn't help me ovulate at all, and actually like made me super sick. I don't know if it was the Clomid that made me super sick, but it was the common denominator, and once I stopped it, I didn't have any of those like flukes of projectile vomiting anymore. And mental health is super important, and in general, when it comes to fertility, mine just went like, because I didn't realize it was going to be this hard mentally either. And so just like taking the time to take care of myself and not feeling like selfish about it, which I've never really had a problem with, like taking care of myself and taking time for me. Like my husband likes to say, I don't ever like deny myself of anything. But taking time for myself and my mind lately has been super important to me. Trying to live stress-free, which is impossible, but trying to like diminish the amount of stress that I have. And last but not least, infertility is damn hard, and I didn't realize it would be like this. I don't know what our journey consists of in the future. I hope it's successful in one way or another. I would love the experience to be pregnant. I know there's other ways to start a family, but I think there's just something about like coming to terms with like your womanhood and your body just being able to do what it can do, is supposed to do, and getting to experience like pregnancy and like birth would be amazing for me. That's the goal. But if that doesn't work out and we start our family in another way, then that would be wonderful as well. I'm just not quite ready to give up yet. But I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm just like, okay, what else can I be doing? But yeah, so anyways, maybe, we'll see if I post this or not, or if I make another video. I think it kind of helps me. I've tried journaling, therapy, and those things have like helped some. Watching what I eat, eating healthier things like high protein, fats, less carbs, more whole foods, that sort of thing. But I don't know. So maybe I'm pregnant right now and we don't know it. We'll find out. But yeah, that's all. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.